Hey Virgo, this is your June 2025 reading. Let's start by pulling 3 cards. I will keep pulling cards throughout the duration of this reading. But let's see what you have been dealing with lately, what you're leaving May and entering June with. And we'll look at the present energy around you now and see what is still yet to come, upcoming, near future energies for June and just a bit beyond. I like to kind of allow these readings to unfold anytime from when you watch it, and really it can be 6 weeks from now, you know, and I hope that this captures some of what you've been going through as well. So entering with the Knight of Swords, very quick moving energy, very busy, but also a lot of momentum behind you, Ace of Pentacles, very nice. June, there is an opportunity in store for you. There is some sort of a deal to be made, or a handout, or something you're receiving. It could be in terms of finances, or a means to make more money, or a job opportunity, or somebody is looking for you specifically for some sort of a task or another. And then we have the Two of Wands in reversal. This month also does present with the Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Like, this person is like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? The Two of Wands in the reversal. Anytime we see a 2, we're usually thinking about deliberation, choices, or one or the other. In the reversal, it seems like you are trying your very best not to make the wrong choice this month, or to put a foot out of line even. But there is this kind of an energy with the Seven of Cups which makes choosing difficult, because maybe all the options seem great, or maybe none of them seem all that good, or none of them seem that clear, and it could be a little bit too much, a bit more overwhelm could be coming through around this choice. So let's clear that up and see what else is going on, okay? The Knight of Swords. Okay, so you've had a lot of like mental energy buzzing, just, you know, in your brain basically, or in your mind. You've had a lot on your mind. You have been taking in quite a lot of information lately, Virgo. You have been almost like playing out scenarios in your mind, and then kind of role-playing these situations out with the kind of, I think the idea here is so that you can begin to figure out or conceptualize what you would do in an XYZ sort of scenario. This could be a bit of classic overthinking, but there's a method to it, and there is a reason for it, and there can be a usefulness for this kind of mental stimulation. And so you can kind of then get to grips with how you really feel about it, or what maybe you would like to happen. So then you kind of take in all this information, you play out these scenes, and you sort of then can maybe desire to actually withdraw a little bit, to sort of assimilate all of this information and bits and pieces and data and thoughts, and just kind of maybe sit with it, withdraw a little bit. It's actually going to be very useful for you as the month goes on, when there is kind of a little bit more of a decision to be made, and where you're actually going to need your focus, your narrowing down to a kind of like, not necessarily tunnel vision, but bits and pieces of information from everywhere. The sort of more scattered mind, that won't be serving you the same way as a kind of a real narrowing down, and a sort of sharper focus will assist you towards the end of the month, okay? Now, the Ace of Pentacles suggests that what comes through for you this month, yes, we can think of the Ace of Pentacles as a blessing. It's very much in alignment for you either way. So this makes a lot of sense. This wouldn't take you off guard or catch you by surprise necessarily. Sure, you may not know what it is yet, but it makes a lot of sense when it does appear for you. It feels grounded, it feels kind of like stable, and yes, of course, this would be me who would be offered this job or this chance or this opportunity. Of course, it makes sense to you that this would appear and begin to, at least the aces are more about potential than anything concrete, right? We actually have to meet this hand and take from it or shake hands on it or go for it, right? So what's being floated out there for you makes a lot of sense to you, and I think you want to do it, and I think it's in alignment for you. I don't think it would appear otherwise. And then the Two of Wands is the trepidation, at least. I don't know if it's making the wrong choice. Air quotes wrong, of course. There is no right or wrong. You're going to end up where you need to end up, I feel like, either way. But maybe this would be a disadvantageous, I can't say that word, whoa, choice, or something that's just going to offer with it like these kind of constraints of delays and things that you're going to have to work around at a later date, inconveniences. But let's see what comes through with it. Okay, so I'm going to clear these cards up now, Virgo, but if this reading ends up resonating with you, I'm going to link an extended version down below where you're going to find deeper messages for this June in relation to this reading, but also there you're going to find another reading for Virgo that I've just done pretty recently in the last few weeks, and it was looking at June as well, so might be interested. And if this is all you're sticking around for, consider liking. Please make sure you're subscribed. Leave me a comment, share this video, however you feel like you'd like to support. Let's get back into your reading. Knight of Swords. I wonder, has this been anybody for you that you cannot get off your mind, right? They're living rent free in your head. The Knight of Swords can be very often another person. The Star card in reverse and the Five of Cups in reverse. Or no, sorry, the Five of Cups upright. So the Star card in the reversal is you being haunted by an old fear. Whether it's rational or not, it doesn't matter. You can't get this out of your head. It's an old fear of, with the Star card in reverse, it's failure rather than success, or it's a plan that didn't amount to anything, or not even a plan, it was an ideal. Sometimes as we move through life and we get older and like our journey unfolds, we kind of can park certain ideals we had when we were a little bit more, you know, the reversal of the Star card is pessimistic. When we were a bit more optimistic, when we were a bit more green, when we hadn't really been shaped by certain events yet, you kind of can end up parking certain ideals by the wayside, and the narrative or story that we can create from that is something like, maybe not in this life, or, you know, that's not going to happen for me. I have to give that up. I have to make that sacrifice. I can't have this and that and all of the rest. And that really, it's just a story that we're telling ourselves. If there has been something that truly would liberate you or set you free on some level, and you have parked it to the side for X amount of times, it's kind of going to look like this horse here, right? Like, it's going to want to break free. It's going to be chomping at the bit, actually, to be expressed or be experienced by you. But that might require too much of a change, or that might require facing up to some sort of a fear. I think it's like this fear of failure, really, that you have. Or whatever the fear is, fear of something bad happening, Five of Cups, fear of loss, fear of abandonment, or some sort of because I've been burned before, yes, I'm wearing my oven mitt now, I'm more cautious, I'm not going to take these chances. But basically what I'm saying here is, or trying to get around to saying is, if you've parked something for far too long, it doesn't necessarily excuse me, make it go away, right? It just becomes suppressed, but it will break out at a certain point and call for your attention, and maybe that's just what's been buzzing around your mind. so much lately, you know? And a lot of the times we value predictability and stability and knowing what's coming next more than we can value like true expansion or heightened awareness or breaking free from a mold or liberation. And the cost of that is inner tension and mental turmoil at times. And it can come from this star card in reverse, a fear of this not being successful, a fear of this not working out and failing again. I do think there's a haunting energy with the star card in reversal, that it makes me think like this is, you have been burned before. The 5 of Cups often speaks to a disappointment or a regret or a sadness, you know? So that's there, but it's buzzing in your mind right now. I feel like there is something that is trying to reach you in terms of like, okay, I'm not finished thinking about this, or something still needs to be done about this. The Knight of Swords is big on taking action, so I wonder what that's all about. We'll get into that more in the extended, I guess. And also the Knight of Swords could be a person that I want to look at, that it's this person that like is literally living rent free in your head, and you're having like, there's a lot of like maybe stress around this, or adrenaline, or just like unpredictability. Yeah, again, just like overthinking this situation. Okay, so the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so on a more grounded and prosperous note, what's this opportunity looking like for you in June? We have in reverse the Ace of Wands, another ace, and the Queen of Swords in reverse. And would you believe the Ace of Swords in reverse too? Don't worry about the doors that have been shut. Don't worry yet about what has been turned down, right? This might be what you've turned down. This might be what you've been rejected for. All of those possibilities were blessings in disguise that it didn't work out, because then you wouldn't be able to take this ace, this aligned opportunity. And worst case scenario, Virgo, Queen of Swords in reverse, you stifled yourself anyway. You actually didn't even take the risk in taking one of these opportunities, and you don't want to let that happen again, says you. You think, okay, whether it works or whether it doesn't, I'm doing it, right? And the Queen of Swords in reverse is very repressed. You might be conversely dealing with an air sign, a Gemini, Aquarius, or a Libra, and they are really like, they're mirroring something to you that you're judging in them. Classic case of projection, right? And they're coming through from your perspective as somebody who is not activating their plans well, they're falling behind, they're kind of detaching, or they're kind of like pulling away. I don't know why that is potentially coming up right now for you, but what is it teaching you about what you have been doing, Virgo, to basically self-sabotage with these reversed aces? Like, these are opportunities that have been missed or that have not aligned for you, and not all of them were due to it just being extenuating circumstances or somebody being chosen ahead of you. Sadly, I think that the Queen of Swords is saying, like, let's have a dose of reality here. This can be a bit of a harsher energy when she's reversed. It's like, Virgo, you were not even willing to take the chance. And that is inspiring, though, you to not even for a second let this pass you by. Even if you think it's like way not your style, or way too far out there, or a little, you know, Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck, no kidding, and the Ace of Cups upright below it. A little zany, a little not your type. You know, this could be a person that you want to be friends with or date or collaborate with. This could be a sort of more eccentric connection coming through, or an eccentric way of you expressing yourself, or a more visible, more kind of like out there, or like I get like a lot of humor here, and a lot of fun and free-spirited energy. And I just think that that's really cool, because the Queen of Swords talks a bit about what you've been suppressing, and at the cost of maybe even missing out on really cool opportunities to connect, to collaborate, to make money, to do stuff, you know, to kind of have experiences and live in certain capacities. You know, that's a bit dramatic, but you know what I'm trying to say here. So that's very interesting that all these aces are coming through, all 4 of them, 2 upright, 2 reversed. We're going to look into that kind of what you've been suppressing and a little bit more into this nature of this opportunity, because I don't know exactly what that opportunity is. I just know that you're not going to let it pass you by. Okay. Virgo, I do feel like you've got a lot on your mind at the moment, and the 2 of Wands in reverse again is you overthinking this. We have the Ace, which is 1 in reverse of Wands, now 2 of Wands in reverse. You might be kind of thinking like, oh my gosh, I cannot like mess this up, so to speak. There's a lot of pressure here. You want to break free from a past way of doing things. And I wonder, are you going to let yourself? Knight of Wands and Knight of Cups. You're going to try and take a leaf out of these Knights books, right? You've got 3 Knights in the reading too. What do you know? The 3 other mutable signs. You're mutable Earth, so Knight of Pentacles hasn't shown, but you've also got Gemini, mutable air, Sagittarius, mutable fire, Pisces, mutable water. You're going to be taking a leaf out of not necessarily those signs or anything's books, but people around you that are mutable like yourself, flexible, adaptable, willing to change, but also people that do things, you know, people that are action oriented and people that are willing to put themselves out there. And I say people, Virgo, because there are so many people in this reading. So it seems like, you know, you're learning a lot by relating to others and watching and observing and learning from and creating with and networking with. This is kind of like a peer group too. Or maybe, Virgo, you just find yourself at a sort of networking event this month where you are kind of rubbing shoulders or chatting away with, and I don't know, it's sort of motivating for you. I do with these 3 Knights, like this tells me that, and 3 Knights and 3 Aces in this reading, I mean, you've got a lot of motivation, you've got a lot of a sense of purpose. It is kind of scattered, and that's what I kind of got the impression around at the start, like scattered energy won't cut it when it comes to this sort of choice you have to make at the end of the month, or this kind of narrowing down and kind of like zooming in now on what's important or crucial, or what is kind of stagnant or stuck in the past, and you want to make a break from that, I think. And you know, I don't turn away from this is the message I'm getting, Virgo. Look at this square in the eye, and I think be honest with yourself and others is also coming up this month. This is like you're the 8th sign I've read for. I think between this and this is mainly the most kind of like Queen of Swords I've been in a reading, to be honest with you. I hope I'm not being Queen of Swords in reverse. I'm trying to be direct, but there seems to be a kind of like a necessary taking another perspective, or learning from, or even collaborating with, or even kind of like you might even use other people, not in a manipulative way, but as a buffer for you too. Maybe you're working in some bigger team or group, and you know, you don't have to be the person to take on everything. You can just kind of hone in your focus on just what you're doing. You're part of it all. I'll leave you with that, Virgo. I'll move to the extended, but let me know if this resonates and make sure to be subscribed. Thanks for watching. Bye.